Is the world about to witness a major prophetic event? The Golden Gate of Jerusalem, which has been closed for almost 500 years, is surrounded by rumors and tensions. According to ancient prophecies, opening this gate could signal the return of Jesus and the end of times. Amidst the ongoing conflicts in the region and various powers trying to gain control over this sacred site, we have to wonder, are these more than just territorial disputes? Could they be leading up to the fulfillment of ancient prophecies? In this video, we'll explore the mysterious history of the Golden Gate, its significance in different religions, the current geopolitical unrest, and the haunting question, are we approaching the end of the world?
This is the Golden Gate. It's the east gate. It's known as the Mercy Gate to Jerusalem. As you can tell, it's been sealed up for a long, long time. The original gate, which was also sealed up and buried, was actually right over here in this area. It's actually been sealed up now, but
the Golden Gate is one of the oldest and most important gates in the world and has a long history. According to experts, it's estimated to have been built in the 6th or 7th century. This iconic structure has seen the rise and fall of empires, from the glory of crusades to the countless pilgrims over the years. It has seen it all. But why this gate has so much importance? Well, we're about to find just that. The Golden Gate is also known as the Eastern Gate and is surrounded by historical and religious importance. It is said to be the gate through which Jesus had made his triumphal entry into Jerusalem, and this moment is celebrated by Christians on Palm Sunday. This gate's significance is deeply rooted in the prophecies of Ezekiel, who had predicted its sealing thousands of years before it was sealed, and the reopening of the gate in the Messianic age, or the time when the Messiah would return. According to Ezekiel 44:1-3, the gate was supposed to stay closed until the arrival of the prince. The Christians referred the word prince with the return of Jesus, while Jews call it the arrival of Messiah. This prophecy still captures the imaginations of believers worldwide. The Golden Gate is at the northern part of the eastern wall of the Temple Mount. The visible eastern wall was built in at least 4 different stages during the reign of Hezekiah, the time of Zerubbabel, the Hasmonean period, and famously in the Herodian period. And the current Golden Gate is believed to have been constructed on top of the remains of an earlier gate in the eastern wall, until it was first sealed by the Muslims in 810 AD. The Golden Gate, also known as Bab al-Dahabi in Arabic and Sha'ar Harakamim in Hebrew, is located in the eastern wall of Jerusalem's Old City. It's directly facing the Mount of Olives and provides a great view that holds religious and historical significance. The gate is situated along the eastern side of the Temple Mount, which is a revered area in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Many believe that the gate's positioning is no coincidence and that it aligns with the ancient path leading to the Temple Mount, reinforcing its sacred status across these faiths. The Golden Gate is quite a sight due to its really big size and strong build. It's about 16 meters tall, 11 meters wide, and with walls almost 2 meters thick. These dimensions not only show how grand the gate is, but also how well it could defend the city. The gate was built back in the 6th or 7th century, but some sources say it might have been constructed on even older foundations, possibly from the Second Temple period. This means the gate is from the time of the Byzantine era and shows the architectural styles and influences of that time. One of the most striking features of the Golden Gate is its double entryway, consisting of 2 distinct arches. These arches are not merely decorative, they serve to enhance the gate's symbolic and functional roles. The double arches are believed to represent mercy and judgment, 2 pivotal themes in religious texts and teachings. Also, the gate was super strong with thick walls and a high position, making it a really tough defensive structure. Throughout history, the gates of Jerusalem have been used for defense and as entry points, and the Golden Gate is no different. It was built to withstand attacks and provide a safe way into the city, representing the turbulent history of Jerusalem itself. In terms of digging up old stuff, the Golden Gate gives us a bunch of info about how ancient Jerusalem was built and planned out. The archaeologists around the gate found parts of old buildings, pottery, and other stuff that tells us about the daily lives of the people who lived and worshipped there. These discoveries help us understand more about Jerusalem's history and how its buildings changed over time. The gate's strategic location, facing the Mount of Olives, also holds eschatological significance. For many believers, this orientation is symbolic of the prophesied events that are expected to occur during the end times. This belief adds another layer of meaning to the gate's already rich historical and religious tapestry. The Golden Gate was first sealed by the Muslims in 810 AD during the Umayyad era. The reasons for sealing the gate are still a bit of a mystery, but it's believed it might have been for strategic or defense purposes. In 1102, the Crusaders reopened it, but it was sealed up again in 1187 AD when Saladin took control of Jerusalem. Jumping ahead to the 16th century, the Ottoman Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent rebuilt the city walls and the gate. The most recent clearing and strengthening of the gate was carried out by the Turkish authorities in 1891. But here the question comes up. What were the reasons that Muslims continuously kept sealing the gate? Well, the exact answer to this question is not known, but there are a couple of theories. One is the same, which was stated earlier, probably for defense purposes. But there are other theories too. According to some historians and scholars, it's a common belief among Muslims and Christians that the Jesus will enter from this gate. But in Jewish traditions, this is the gate through which the Anointed One, Messiah, will enter Jerusalem. So the Muslim rulers kept on sealing the gate to prevent false Messiah or Antichrist to enter Jerusalem. The Golden Gate in Jerusalem has a lot of history behind it. It was sealed by Ottoman Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent in 1541 after he was influenced by Jewish and Christian prophecies. The gate has been closed for almost 500 years, which has sparked a lot of curiosity and debate. Back in the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire was huge and controlled lands in Europe, Asia, and Africa, and Jerusalem was a prized possession because it held deep religious significance for Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Suleiman the Magnificent was known for his ambitious building projects, and he made sure to strengthen Jerusalem too. Suleiman took on a huge project to fix up the ancient walls of Jerusalem, making the city stronger and more beautiful. The Golden Gate, or Bab al-Dahabi, was a big part of this project. Stories say that Suleiman knew a lot about the religious beliefs connected to the gate. These beliefs probably affected Suleiman's choice to seal the gate, making sure that no one who was expected to come through would be able to. During this time, something interesting happened that added to the mystery of the Golden Gate. It's said that Suleiman had a dream in which lions were devouring him, and he took this as a divine warning. He thought the dream meant that if the gate remained open, his empire would face ruin. So he decided to seal the gate, mixing political strategy with personal superstition. The sealing of the Golden Gate by Suleiman wasn't just about construction. It was also about asserting control and planning for the future. By shutting the gate, he not only protected Jerusalem from potential invasions, but also made a statement about the Ottoman Empire's dominance over the city's spiritual and prophetic narratives. This action reinforced the idea that the Ottoman Empire was the protector of the Holy Land, preserving its sacredness. For almost 5 centuries, the sealed Golden Gate has stood as a silent witness to Jerusalem's glorious history. Wars, conquests, and political changes have all impacted the city, but the gate remained closed and served as a lasting reminder of Suleiman's legacy. The closure of the Golden Gate also influenced local traditions and beliefs. For example, Jewish and Christian communities adjusted their expectations about the end times, incorporating the sealed gate into their prophetic timelines. The gate became a symbol of anticipation, a tangible reminder of the divine events that are yet to come. This interaction between faith and history highlights the unique role of the gate in Jerusalem's story. Suleiman the Magnificent. The Golden Gate holds a special place in Jewish tradition. It's not just a beautiful structure. It's believed to be the gate through which the Messiah will enter the Jerusalem and will start a new era of peace and divine presence. This belief is deeply rooted in Jewish eschatology and messianic prophecies. The significance of the Golden Gate is closely tied to the prophecies of Ezekiel in the book of Ezekiel 44:1-3, giving it a powerful spiritual importance for Jews around the world. Back in the day, it was believed that Jewish pilgrims would go through this gate to get to the Temple Mount during the Second Temple period. Plus, the fact that the gate faces the Mount of Olives, a significant site in Jewish tradition, adds to its religious meaning. According to Jewish beliefs, when the Messiah comes, the dead will be brought back to life at the Mount of Olives, which makes the gate even more special. In more recent history, the Ottomans sealed the gate in the 16th century, thinking it could stop the Jewish Messiah from showing up. They even put a cemetery in front of it, assuming that a Jewish holy man wouldn't go near a cemetery. That move just added to the gate's spiritual importance. But it's not just ancient history that makes this gate a big deal. Archaeologists have found cool stuff around the gate, like artifacts from way back in the Second Temple period. These findings keep the hope and excitement about the Golden Gate alive. You can also see the gate's significance in modern Jewish thoughts and prayers. It symbolizes the ultimate redemption and restoration of the Jewish people. The prayers on Yom Kippur and other important Jewish holidays often talk about the coming of the Messiah and the hope of going through the Golden Gate. People even pray toward the gate, showing how much it means to them. It also has a big influence on Jewish art and literature. Artists and writers use it as a symbol of hope and renewal, which keeps the gate's significance alive to this day. The Golden Gate holds a special place in Christianity as well. According to Christian beliefs, this gate will stay closed until the second coming of Jesus Christ. Its opening is considered a sign of his return and the fulfillment of biblical prophecy. In the New Testament, it's believed that Jesus made his glorious entry into Jerusalem through this gate. This event is remembered on Palm Sunday and is also described in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Christians see this entry as the confirmation of Jesus' role as the Messiah and his second coming. This belief stems from interpretations of both Old and New Testament prophecies. In the Gospel of Matthew 24:27, where Jesus said, "For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man." This verse is often linked to the Eastern Gate, signifying that his return will be unmistakable and glorious. In another place, in the book of Acts 1:10-12, it talks about how Jesus appeared from the Mount of Olives, right across from the Golden Gate, and the angels there said that Jesus would come back in the same way he was gone into heavens. So that's why the Golden Gate is so important, because it's so close to the Mount of Olives, and it links the location to the expected second coming. Throughout history, the Golden Gate has really interested Christian pilgrims and theologians. Early Christian pilgrims noted down their journeys to the gate and viewed it as a special place where divine predictions would come true. The fact that the gate is sealed has only made it more mysterious, representing the Christian belief in the fulfillment of biblical prophecy and the ultimate redemption of humanity. Even today, the Eastern Gate holds a lot of importance for Christian scholars and theologians. Dr. Randall Price, a well-known biblical archaeologist, emphasizes that the gate has historical significance as well as a prophetic role. Its sealed state is seen as a sign of anticipation for future events according to Christian beliefs. This view confirms the lasting relevance of the gate in modern Christian thought. Moreover, the gate's role in end-time prophecies is often highlighted in Christian media and literature. Books, documentaries, and sermons often explore its significance, making connections between ancient prophecies and current events. This ongoing focus underscores the powerful symbolism of the gate within the Christian faith. This gate isn't only important in Judaism and Christianity, it also holds significance in Islam, the third major Abrahamic religion. In Islam, the Golden Gate, this gate is known as Bab al-Dahabi and is profoundly important. According to Islamic tradition, this gate is connected to the events of the Day of Judgment, and it's considered a focal point for the resurrection and the final judgment. Bab al-Dahabi means Gate of Mercy or Golden Gate, and in Islamic tradition, it's believed that the resurrection and final judgment will start at this gate. This belief is supported by various hadiths and interpretations from Islamic scholars that highlight its significance in the end times. One important belief in Islam is that the Mahdi, who is expected to be the Redeemer of Islam, will come to Jerusalem through the Golden Gate. According to Islamic teachings, the Mahdi's arrival signifies a time of justice and peace before the Day of Judgment. It is believed that the Mahdi will guide the faithful and restore true Islam, preparing for the final events that lead to the Day of Judgment. Moreover, Jesus, Isa in Arabic, is considered a highly respected prophet, and it is believed that he will return to earth and enter Jerusalem through the Golden Gate. This event is seen as a sign that the Day of Judgment is near. According to Sahih Muslim, which is one of the most authentic collections of hadith, Jesus will descend near a white minaret in the eastern part of Damascus, Syria, and then head to Jerusalem. The Quran talks about the idea of resurrection and the final judgment in different verses, but it doesn't specifically mention the Golden Gate. However, the Hadith literature and the interpretations of Islamic scholars give a more detailed explanation of this. Islamic teachings place a lot of importance on Jerusalem, especially the Al-Aqsa Mosque near the Golden Gate. Al-Aqsa is considered the third holiest site in Islam, and its close proximity to the gate highlights the spiritual significance of the area. The belief in the Golden Gate's role in future events makes it even more sacred in the Islamic tradition. Even today, modern Islamic scholars are still discussing the role of the Golden Gate in end-time events, emphasizing its significance. Islamic eschatologist Sheikh Imran Hossein often talks about the gate's importance in future events, and he stresses that these prophecies will be a clear sign of the approaching Day of Judgment, urging Muslims to remain strong in their faith. When we think about the significance of the Golden Gate in Islamic tradition, it's clear that this old structure means more than just history. It represents deep spiritual beliefs and beliefs about the end of the world that Muslims have valued for many years. It shows the lasting belief in divine prophecy and the final judgment that all of humanity will face. The Golden Gate has not only been a site of historical significance, but also a focal point during moments of modern conflict and controversy. During the Six-Day War in 1967, this ancient gate found itself at the heart of intense battles and dramatic changes in control. The Six-Day War, fought between June 5 and June 10, 1967, saw Israel capture East Jerusalem, including the Old City, from Jordan. The Golden Gate, known for its sealed arches and historical depth, was suddenly within Israeli control. This dramatic shift brought both opportunities and challenges. Israeli forces quickly secured the area, but the tension surrounding the gate was palpable, reflecting the broader conflict's complexity. In recent years, the Golden Gate has again become a flashpoint, this time involving the Islamic Waqf and Hamas. The Waqf, a Jordanian Islamic trust, has administrative control over the Temple Mount, including the area around the Golden Gate. In February 2019, the Waqf reopened a building adjacent to the Golden Gate, which had been closed by Israeli authorities since 2003. This move was seen by many as a direct challenge to Israeli control and led to a series of confrontations. Israeli officials argued that the reopening was illegal and posed security risks, while the Waqf maintained that it was asserting its rightful control over Islamic holy sites. This incident escalated tensions, leading to protests and clashes between Palestinian worshippers and Israeli police. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated, "We will maintain the status quo. We will not allow any changes to the Temple Mount arrangements." Hamas, designated a terrorist organization by many countries including the United States and the European Union, voiced strong support for the Waqf's actions. They called for a day of rage to protest the Israeli measures, further intensifying the situation. The involvement of Hamas added a layer of geopolitical complexity, linking local religious disputes with broader regional conflicts. In addition to these events, controversies have erupted over the management and archaeological excavations near the Golden Gate. Israeli archaeologists have conducted several digs in the area, leading to significant findings about Jerusalem's ancient past. However, these activities have often been met with suspicion and resistance from Palestinian authorities and the Waqf, who view them as attempts to undermine Islamic heritage and assert Israeli sovereignty. The debate over these excavations is ongoing, with both sides citing historical and religious claims. Recently, there have been rumors going around about the Golden Gate mysteriously opening. Some say it's because of natural causes or someone messing with it, but others think it means something big is about to go down. It's sparked a lot of debates and theories. The Golden Gate has been closed for centuries, and it's always been a symbol of mystery and religious prophecy. Lately, there have been reports about the gate just opening up out of nowhere. This whole thing has really fired up the imaginations of both believers and skeptics. One idea is that maybe it's because of natural causes like the ground moving or the old structure giving in. Experts gave their opinions related to seismic activities and the gate's old materials. Apparently, it's not that uncommon for ancient structures to have these kinds of things happen, so it totally makes sense. Others say that the gate's opening was because of someone messing with it. Vandals or activists could have tampered with the gate, trying to make a statement for political or religious reasons. And being in Jerusalem, a city with a lot of history and spiritual significance, makes it a target for different groups with their own agendas. The investigations are going on, and they've been looking at security footage and eyewitness accounts to figure out what's really going on. But a lot of people see it as a sign of something big about to happen. For believers, the gate's opening is not just a physical thing, but a sign of something spiritual on the way. The opening of the Golden Gate has sparked a range of reactions. Religious leaders, scholars, and lay people alike are pondering its implications. Could this be the fulfillment of ancient prophecies, or is there a more mundane explanation? The recent event has drawn attention from all over the world. Many religious leaders have come forward and interpreted the gate's opening as a significant sign. Rabbi Yitzhak Yosef, the Sephardic chief rabbi of Israel, remarked, "This could be a harbinger of the Messianic era, a time we've been awaiting for millennia. Similarly, Christian leaders, including various evangelical pastors, have cited biblical prophecy, suggesting that the opening might signal the second coming of Christ. Scholars tend to be cautious when approaching this phenomenon. Dr. Lean Rittmeyer, a well-known archaeologist who specializes in Jerusalem, while the timing of such events can fuel speculation, it is essential to consider natural and human factors. The gate's structure is ancient and susceptible to environmental changes. The locals have had all kinds of reactions to this whole thing. Some thought it was a message from a higher power, while others were just looking for a more down-to-earth explanation. Social media has been blowing up with all sorts of theories, from conspiracy stuff to, signs from the universe. In 2020, there was this wild moment when some tourists said they saw the gate kind of cracked open during a sunrise visit. This story went viral online and added fuel to the hype. This topic also had its fair share of controversies, and things got pretty heated in 2021 when people tried to dig near the gate. It caused some clashes between the local authorities and religious groups, as each side argued about their own interpretations and rights over the site. This incident showed just how powerful the symbolism of the gate is and the tensions it can stir up. The opening of the Golden Gate continues to be a hot topic. Whether you look at it from a religious, historical, or scientific perspective, this event has sparked renewed interest and speculation. It's making sure that the Golden Gate remains a center of fascination and debate. Lately, experts have been digging around the Golden Gate and found some really stuff about how it was built, its history, and why it's important. They also discovered that the current gate was actually built on top of older structures, which means it has a long history of being rebuilt and repurposed. Underneath the ground, they found remains of an old church from the 6th century and some tombs from the time of the Second Temple. The church shows that the place was important to Christians, and the tombs highlight how significant it was for Jewish burial traditions. There's an underground tunnel from the Temple Mount to the Golden Gate, probably used by priests and officials way back when. It just shows how important the gate was for getting to the sacred parts of the temple. The construction of the tunnel, with its perfectly cut stones, proves just how skilled the ancient builders were. In 1800s, they found a stone tablet with Hebrew writing that everyone initially thought was a religious artifact, but it turned out to be a boundary marker. This marker defined the limits of a sacred area near the gate and provided solid proof of the gate's religious significance. The discovery of this boundary marker reignited interest in the Golden Gate's origins and its role in Jerusalem's history. Scholars began revisiting historical texts and archaeological evidence to create a more detailed story of the gate throughout the centuries. And not just the tunnels and stones, archaeologists also found coins and pottery pieces. These relics were from different times and give us a peek into the daily life and trade in ancient Jerusalem. The coins had pictures of old rulers and religious symbols, which indicated the city's diverse history. The pottery bits tell us about the skills and everyday life of the people who lived nearby. Fast forward to today, new technology like ground-penetrating radar and 3D modeling has made it even easier to study the Golden Gate. With these tools, archaeologists can check out spots that were off-limits before and find hidden rooms and details. These methods are expected to reveal more secrets and keep the story of the Golden Gate alive for future generations. The ongoing digging around the Golden Gate isn't just teaching us more about Jerusalem's past, it's also showing us how important this place has always been. Each new discovery, from small pieces of pottery to big parts of buildings, adds to the gate's amazing history. What's next for the Golden Gate? As talks are going on, we're not sure what's in store. Will it stay open, get closed again, or turn into a hub for more adventures and findings? The answers to these questions are not sure, but what's sure is that this gate has been getting a lot of attention recently, and there are all sorts of ideas about what it means. Some religious leaders think it should stay open because they believe it fulfills ancient prophecies. Rabbi Chaim Richman of the Temple Institute said, "The open gate could bring in a new era and be a step towards rebuilding and redemption." Christian experts also see the open gate as a big deal, possibly fitting into their ideas about end-times prophecies. However, the future of the Golden Gate is not solely in the hands of religious leaders. Archaeologists and historians are insisting on the need for careful preservation and study. Dr. Meir Bendov, an expert in Jerusalem's ancient architecture, warns, "Any alteration to the gate must be approached with utmost caution to preserve its historical integrity." This sentiment is even empowered by UNESCO, which considers Jerusalem a World Heritage Site and underscores the importance of safeguarding its cultural treasures. The fate of the gate is heavily influenced by the political environment. Israeli authorities, as well as Palestinian and international stakeholders, must navigate complex religious and cultural sensitivities. In 2022, there was a proposal to do more archaeological digs around the Golden Gate, and it got mixed reactions which showed how controversial any potential actions could be. As the debates are going on, the Golden Gate stands as a powerful symbol of Jerusalem's rich and complex history. Its future, whether as an open passage, a sealed relic, or a site of ongoing exploration, remains a topic of global fascination. One thing is certain: the Golden Gate will continue to captivate the imagination and reverence of people worldwide, bridging the past with the uncertainties and hopes of the future. In a nutshell, the Golden Gate's future is covered in mystery, much like its past. The decisions made in the coming years will not only impact the physical gate, but also resonate deeply with the millions who hold it dear. That's a wrap from our side. The Golden Gate is a strong symbol that represents faith, prophecy, and conflict. Its closed arches hold stories of past empires, divine promises, and an uncertain future. Ongoing tensions in the region contribute to the mystery, sparking speculations and fervent hopes. The Golden Gate challenges us to reflect on the deeper meanings behind current events, prompting us to consider whether we are witnessing the dawn of prophetic fulfillment or just the echoes of human ambition. Stay curious, stay informed, and subscribe to our channel for more journeys into history's greatest mysteries.